Objection calls for hearsay.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. He'd had a conversation with Ms. Hurd.
Hearsay.
Let's move beyond the conversation that Kevin Murphy had with Ms. Hurd.
He said, yes, they had. Okay. It appears that Ms. Hurd had told...
Hearsay, Your Honor.
This is apparently a statement by Ms. Hurd.
not to fight.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
What she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
I'm not sure if it's offered for the truth of the matter asserted.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning. To Ms. Hurd that
I'll move to strike this as hearsay, Your Honor.
All right,
And I object.
disturbing. Yes, I looked at papers. Maybe they're hearsay papers. So I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth.
I think it's a pretty simple yes or no question, which is
You'd like
other
it to be, sir.
other-
Nothing simple in this case.
other than
October is 2 months before December. That's correct.
this was a document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yes.
Okay. Mr. Depp, that is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
This is a document you signed, right?
For the third time, that is my signature, yes.
Go to, and that was a document you signed in August of 2016, correct?
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before? Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
fourth.
I wanted to make clear that you signed
made it
that in
clear.
the summer of 2016. Correct?
Again.
Okay. So the Boston flight, you were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there? Ended up with a very ugly situation with Amber. So
Mr.
I
Depp,
doubled
with
up
respect,
the,
trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was
I
simply,
understand when you
would
take
agree,
5 minutes to look for a
you would agree,
document.
you would agree that on Let's pull up Exhibit 500, please.
500?
500, Defense Exhibit 500.
Yes, I'd like to see who I lied to.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour anytime?
You can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine. I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right, yes.
And right after you cut your finger off, right after, I won't give you anything to argue with me yet. Right after you sustained an injury to your finger, right after you sustained an injury to your finger,
Bless you.
you poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah. We're going to fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it.
I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again? Do you have a drinking problem, Johnny?
Objection calls for hearsay.
I was drinking.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
Ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one.
old vintage motherfucker you went for, dumbass. Did I read that right?
I was signing off as dumbass.
And then, did I read that right?
You really did.
I read that right, correct?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
No. Go away, coach. Done. Hup. Done. Remember, so
Mr.
I
Depp,
doubled
with
up
respect,
the,
trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was
I
simply,
understand when you
would
take
agree,
5 minutes to look for a
you would
document.
agree, you would agree, poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah. And then you write, I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again?
Mr. Bett, do you recognize this photograph?
I do,
And how do you recognize it?
because I took that picture.
Why did you take this photograph?
Well, we needed it as evidence in case Ms. Heard tried to make allegations towards Mr. Depp. I was emphatic with him, telling him that's a serious mark and we need to photograph it.
I just moved to strike for foundation.
I'll allow that answer, but thank you.
And when did you take this photograph?
It would have been around March of 2015.
Your Honor, we ask that this photograph please be published to the jury and admitted into evidence.
Any objection to 146?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 146 in evidence and be published to the jury. Thank you.
Mr. Bett, what does this photograph show?
It depicts a swollen upper left cheekbone with redness to it.
Thank you. Did you notice any other injuries on Mr. Depp?
On that specific day, no.
Later in time, did you ever notice any other injuries on Mr. Depp?
I did.
Can you please describe what you recall?
It was around December of that same year, 2015. He got into an argument with Ms. Heard, and she scratched him, and he had injuries.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain the objection. Only your observations, sir, what you saw.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Bett, can you please describe the injury that you saw on Mr. Depp?
Yes, he had scratch marks around his nose area, I believe on one of the sides of his face, in the cheek area, and then on his forehead.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad.
The knife is really dull, and it would be the worst thing in the world to use to cut me with. It would be too painful and dull and dirty to use.
Yeah, that's the typical.
Can you please tell the jury why you're here today?
Yes. About 6 years ago, Ms. Heard made some quite heinous and disturbing, brought these disturbing criminal acts against me that were not based in any species of truth. At the time, because the news of this, her accusations had sort of permeated the industry and then made its way through media and social media, became quite a global let's say, quote-unquote, fact, if you will. And since I knew that there was no truth to it whatsoever, I felt it my responsibility to stand up not only for myself in that instance, but stand up for my children, who at the time were 14 and 16, and so they were in high school, and lies build upon lies and build upon lies. It's too much to cover. I'm obsessed with the truth, and so today is the first opportunity that I've been able to speak about this case in full for the first time.
Text her rears, tears, beers, shears, sapphires, leers, jeers, queers, hears, fakirs, mouseketeers, ears. I can go all night, DJ MaxiPad, the old vintage motherfucker you went for, dumbass. Did I read that right?
I was signing off as dumbass.
And then below that, you write, don't call me again and do not expect anything from me. Do you see that?
I do see that.
Did I read that right?
You really did.
Let's go to the next page, please. Eat salad with your equine AD bovine yerps. And thanks for the support. Have a great shoot. You sicken me. Leave me fucking be, Officer Squarehead. Your display of guilt and matronliness as a lesbian camp counselor was plenty. Your future is on display. Best of luck.
Best if luck.
Thank you for the correction. Best if luck.
You're welcome.
And thanks for the tunes. Bye, JD. Don't call again. I will begin to feel embarrassed for you. Go away, coach. Hup. Done. Did I read that right?
No. Go away, coach. Done. Hup. Done.
Thank you. Otherwise, did I read that right?
Sure.
You agree that referring to Amber as a lesbian camp counselor is a highly offensive reference to make, correct?
What's the date here? 2013. It wasn't as considered as egregious. There was a bit more. Understanding about terms. Amber also called herself a lesbian camp counselor many times. So, I don't think I'm the first to say that.
You'd agree that there's nothing appropriate about referring to your girlfriend or fiance as that, in those disparaging terms in that text, correct?
Objection compound.
All right, sustained.
You'd agree that you meant the terms in your text as an insult because you didn't like the fact that she was disapproving of your alcohol and drug habits.
Objection
Isn't that right?
compound.
Sustained compound question.
There was nothing.
No, you don't have to answer that, sir. That's
Sorry.
right. Next question.
Sorry, Your Honor.
If you can go up one page, please. You told her, you sicken me. Leave me fucking be, Officer Squarehead. Correct?
Yes.
This is a picture of you on a black leather couch, passed out, correct?
Passed out's an interesting way of putting it. Maybe asleep.
Where is it? What residence?
That's in Boston.
I'm sorry?
That was in Boston when I was doing Black Mass.
In Boston. And that's ice cream on your lap, correct?
It is indeed. Miss Hurd asked me to hold the ice cream as she noticed that I was on the nod. That means falling asleep from the 17-hour day that I'd worked and also the opiates that I'd ingested. And if you'll notice, my right hand is in my pocket. So I wasn't participating in the Festival of Ice Cream.
Okay.
I was holding her ice cream, and because she knew what was going to happen, that I would fall asleep and it would drop, and that was a wonderful picture to take for her.
Sure.
I don't know why she took it. But...
Well, so it's Miss Hurd's fault that that picture was taken. Is that what you're saying?
She snapped it.
Okay. All right. Let's.
Mr. Depp, have you ever physically assaulted Miss Hurd?
Never.
Have you ever sexually assaulted Miss Hurd?
Never. Certainly not.
What have you lost as a result of Miss Hurd making these allegations?
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make faces.
She goes, yeah, he threw a phone at me and hit me. And I'm going, where? I don't see a cut, a bruise, swelling, redness.
That's Amber diligently taking notes today and smirking as Johnny listened intently to their former friend and neighbor, brought to tears, defending him.
It's not right what she did and what happened for so many people to get affected. It's insane.
Johnny beat me up really good this time.
Yesterday, both exes appeared emotional as the jury heard Amber's graphic claims.
He ends up assaulting her and sexually assaults her.
The first witness, Johnny's sister, Christy, she booked the couple's travel and told the court she would reserve an extra hotel room for Johnny to escape when he and Amber fought. Depp looked solemn as she also testified about their abusive mother, explaining that Amber often triggered Johnny.
She called him an old fat man.
Amber's attorney repeatedly mentioned Depp's alleged substance abuse issues, showing text messages.
Stop drinking, stop coke, or stop pills. You wrote those words to Mr. Depp, right?
I wrote those words.
And he brought up Johnny's friendship and matching tattoos with another star who denies his ex's abuse claims.
You'll hear evidence of drug binges with his good friend Marilyn Manson.
He was hitting me hard and repeatedly.
Johnny says Amber's 2018 op-ed calling herself a domestic violence victim damaged his career. The Pirates of the Caribbean star claims he was dropped from the 5th sequel after the op-ed was published. He was also let go from the Fantastic Beasts franchise.
Do not fight out of hatred.
Johnny had actually only done a day's filming, I think on his own.
Depp, whose films grossed more than $10 billion across 2 decades, testified in 2020 that he was $100 million in debt. Both exes are set to take the stand.
Miss Hurd's portrayal is a lie, and she has been preparing to give the performance of her life in this trial.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking.
Objection calls for hearsay.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. He'd had a conversation with Ms. Hurd.
Let's move beyond the conversation that Kevin Murphy had with Ms. Hurd.
He said, yes, they had. Okay. It appears that Ms. Hurd had told...
Hearsay, Your Honor.
Apparently a statement by Ms.
not to fight.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
What she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
I'm not just sure if the truth of the matter is certain.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning. To Ms. Hurd that...
I'll move to strike this as hearsay, Your Honor. And I...
Disturbing. Yes, I looked at papers. Maybe they're hearsay papers. So I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth.
I think it's a pretty simple yes or no question, which is...
You'd like it to be, sir. Nothing simple in this case.
Other than... This was a document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Depp, that is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
This is a document you signed, right?
For the third time, that is my signature, yes.
Good. And that was a document you signed in August of 2016. Correct?
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before?
Ms. Duders, I just had a question for you. Have you been watching the trial this past week?
I've seen clips of it online, yeah.
You've been watching, so you have seen parts of this trial?
Yeah.
Okay, and witness testimonies?
Yeah, I've seen clips of...
You've seen it, thanks. Yeah. All right, does anybody have any follow-up questions?
Ms. Duders, have you been watching...
It doesn't matter, she's been watching clips of witness testimony. All right, you're excused, ma'am. You can have, you're excused.
Okay.
Thank you. I will instruct the jury they'll have to strike the testimony of Ms. Duders. There's a rule on witnesses, Mr. Moniz.
Understood, Your Honor. This is the first we're...
I believe that. I have no doubt in my mind that this is the first you've heard of it. Have a good day.
You were abusing alcohol toward the end of your relationship with your prior partner, Vanessa Parody, correct?
I was drinking.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
It's my question to you, sir.
No, I wasn't drinking that heavily.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move.
Paul Bettany, correct?
Again.
Okay. So the Boston flight, you were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there? Ended up with a very ugly situation with Amber. So
Mr. Depp, with respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was simply,
when
you
take
would agree,
5 minutes to look for a
you would
document.
agree, you would agree that on. Let's pull up Exhibit 500, please.
500?
500. Defense Exhibit 500.
I'd like to see who I lied to.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour any time?
Can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine. I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right, yes.
And right after you cut your finger off, right after, I won't give you anything to argue with me yet. Right after you sustained an injury to your finger, right after you sustained an injury to your finger,
bless
you poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah. We're going to fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it.
I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again?
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way. I don't really know what comes next, I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit, I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't, that's what guides me the most.
What was your brother's role in Pirates?
He was Captain Jack Sparrow.
Fair to say that was the lead?
That was the lead.
How did...
Felt insecure about her relationship with Mr. Depp. What else did Miss Heard say about feeling insecure?
She told me she didn't like hanging out in his house with his friends because it was boring and they were all old men playing guitars and it wasn't interesting to her.
Did Mr. Depp ever interact with your son?
Yes, he was very kind.
How often did Mr. Depp interact with your son?
Whenever they were in each other's presence.
Can you give me an estimate of how often that happened?
Oh, countless times. He would even teach him how to play guitar. He brought him back from vacations. He showed him his amazing makeup makeover when he was doing Black Mass. He tricked him, he leant over and was saying, "Do you know who I am?" And he had the full makeup on his son's jaw, almost hit the ground. It was really cute, actually. Yeah. He gave my son a little pick as well, a guitar pick, which he cherishes to this day as well.
Oh,
Oh, goody. Which exhibit is this?
I believe the parties have worked out the redactions.
Okay.
I think, I could be wrong.
Or is there any objections to the exhibits?
I don't think we've talked at all about what exhibits were coming in.
That's music to my ears.
I know.
She loved the side of Johnny that we see in the movies, the charismatic one, the charming one, the generous one. That's the man she fell in love with. But sadly, the monster came in the way. And that monster would come out when he was drinking and when he would take the drugs. Some pretty horrendous things happened to her. He rips off her nightgown. He has her jammed up against a bar. He has hurled bottles and bottles at her. He has dragged her across the floor on the broken bottles and the liquor. He has punched her. He has kicked her. He tells her he's going to kill her. He hates her. He's pounding at her, pounding her. And then he penetrates her with a liquor bottle. That's the Johnny Depp that you're going to hear about in this case.
So on May 21st, Mr. Depp came by the apartment that he shared with Ms. Heard in the Eastern Columbia building, or the ECB, as some people refer to it, to tell her that, to pick up his things, and to say goodbye. There is no dispute that soon after Mr. Depp ended things with Ms. Heard and left the apartment on May 21st, he got on a plane to head out on a European tour, a music tour, for months with his band, the Hollywood Vampires. You will hear from the police officers who responded to a 911 call on May 21st after Mr. Depp left. The police officers will testify that they saw no injuries on Ms. Heard. Nor did the police officers see any of the property damages that you will hear Ms. Heard claims existed in the apartments that evening. And you will hear those officers under oath testify that there was no violence and there was no crime. You will also hear from multiple witnesses who, like the police officers, saw Ms. Heard between May 21 and May 26. Those are the crucial days between the alleged incident and the day she walked into court with her lawyer and got an ex parte order. And those witnesses will testify that they saw her without any marks, any signs of injury on her face. Ultimately, this trial is about clearing Mr. Depp's name of a terrible and false allegation. We ask you in the next several weeks to please carefully consider the evidence, assess the reliability and credibility of that evidence, and to make your own determination about what actually happened between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
Mushrooms, ecstasy, and cocaine.
Amber sat stone-faced, coldly staring as ex-assistant Kate James listed off illegal drugs she alleges the actress took. It was all documented in a February deposition tape played today in court. At times, Kate gets testy and dismissive.
That's all I remember. I don't recall details.
Do you recall anything?
No.
You didn't love Amber. You didn't like her, did you?
Any close relationship has ebbs and flows.
Amber's attorneys tried to paint Kate as a scorned ex-employee, blindsided when the actress abruptly fired her after 3 years.
It was abusive in your opinion?
Blind rage, multiple times screaming at me, abusive text messages between 2 and 4 a.m. The barrage would start.
Objection calls for hearsay.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. He'd had a conversation with Miss Heard.
Let's move beyond the conversation that Kevin Murphy had with Miss Heard.
He said, yes, they had. Okay. It appears that Miss Heard had told...
Hearsay, Your Honor.
Apparently a statement by Mr.
not to fight.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
What she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
I'm not sure it's often for the truth of the matter asserted.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning. To Miss Heard that...
I'll move to strike this as hearsay, Your Honor. And I...
Disturbing. Yes, I looked at papers. Maybe they're hearsay papers. So I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth.